Well, I'm ready to go live. The program just asked me, are you ready to go live? And I said, yes, I am ready to go live. Bam, we're live. Folks, welcome to the Intrepid radio program. This is Scotty Roberts, your host, right here on my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Mr. Scotty Roberts. You can come on over here, watch about 500 archived shows, probably more than that by now. And so you've got all kinds of viewing and listening you can do here. You don't have to always watch the archives. You know why? Because it's mostly me talking. I come here and I do this because I can put a picture up on the screen. Sometimes we throw photos up, diagrams up, but it's mostly for the chat room. So I appreciate all of you being here. You can also go hear the archives being played over at Odyssey Radio. That's ODYSY1.com. Go on over and see all the goodness that's Odyssey Radio. And, well, I did not freeze up here, did I? No, I didn't. I don't know what's going on there. All right, there we go. Hey, and every time I got to push a button because we're broadcasting on my phone, because the makeshift studio here does not work. The internet here sucks. So we can't broadcast normally. So we're doing it by phone. So I hope that you all are here, that you're going to enjoy the show. And I see some of you are already over there in the chat room. I'm just going over to take a look at the chat room. There we go. There it is. I've got it in a blown out form on my screen right over there. And not on my phone. I can see it on the phone, but it's so tiny I can't read it. And so everybody, welcome. Beth Kirkham, how you doing? And Roger Rabbit, I saw you were here a little earlier, and Field Guy was here. I saw Carly Sagan in here earlier. Welcome, everybody. I'm sure glad you're here tonight. Teresa Duntone, good to see you. Doug Stack, good to see you, brother. And Matt Finn, Master Finn. No blowing out, bruh. So, Siani Reese, good to see you here today. I keep getting ads for Norton popping up. You know, I signed up for one thing to see some articles that they had. And in so doing, they must have already sold my name onto their list because I keep getting ads popping up on my computer screen. I'm going to have to go take care of that soon. So it was a gorgeous day here, by the way, in Louisiana. Probably the nicest day I have seen here at the Makeshift studio in my makeshift life down in Louisiana since I've been here. It was about 73 degrees, low humidity, not a cloud in the sky all day. So it was a gorgeous day. Teresa Danton, good to see you. I think I saw Steve in there. Hey, Steve Clark. How you doing? Good to see you. So what are the water lines? What do you mean tomorrow? Yeah, water lines. Is that water lines in your house? Because I see all kinds of people upset about legislation in Georgia over giving people water in lines. So I don't know what it is. And I see all kinds of people going off the deep end about that. And I think from what I gleaned on that, it was all about Georgia's passing a law that you can't pass out water to people standing in a line at the polls. They're not there to drink water, folks. They're there to vote. And the idea with voting is that people say, what are all these restrictions now that they're putting on voting and all that? Well, you know what, folks? A lot of that crap would matter if we were a democracy. We are not. Anybody here in the chat room, anybody listening to my voice, do you believe we are not a democracy? Or that we are a democracy? That we're not something other than a democracy? Because we aren't a democracy. We are a republic. We're a constitutionally limited representative republic that also has democracy. So when all the questions during the last election came up about rules about voting and every vote should count, no, that's wrong. Not every vote should count. You know why? There are rules, there are regulations, there are limitations to voting. Every vote doesn't count. If you don't do it at the prescribed time, at the prescribed place, in the prescribed method, your vote's not going to count. So some votes don't count. And what's all the hubbub about not wanting to have voter ID? That's been going on for years now. What a stupid, inane thing to go back and forth on. You know, we're a democratic republic. That's not what the founders called us. They called us a republic. We have redefined it as a democratic republic because we're a republic that has democracy. But democracy, we are not a democracy. That is not the way we operate. A democracy is one man or one person, one vote. That's not the way it works. We are a representative government under the form of a republic. Boom. But the whole thing with voter ID, you ever have to take out your ID for anything? Name some of the things in the chat room. What are the things that you got to show? This is an old argument. It's an old topic. But I think because it's in the news again, let's talk about it for a couple of minutes. What do you got to do when you do anything? How many of you, name some things you got to do when you show your ID? What are things you got to show your ID for? Okay, come on, tell me. Sam, what are things you got to show your ID for?
Buying alcohol.
Buying alcohol? You ever get carded?
I mean, I have, but I'm old enough. I just tell them I don't have an ID, and then I tell them that I was born January 8th, 2020.
There you go. He lies to get his alcohol. Okay, so you got to show your ID to get alcohol. You got to show your ID if you buy cigarettes. What else do you have to show your ID for? Hey, I want to show you something.
Buy guns.
Look at that. That's my voter registration card in New Richmond, Wisconsin. That's in my wallet. Voter registration. You know how I got this? I didn't go over and say, I'm Scotty Roberts. I would like a registration card so I can vote. Well, I did say that. But then they said, okay, we need to see, the first time I did this, we need to see some ID, and we need to see like one of your utility bills from your house to prove that you live here in this district, which I did. I provided all of that. And they go, here's your registration card. And so I've got a registration card. Look at this. I've got a passport. Look at my passport. What does my passport allow me to do? It allows me to cross the borders of this country. It allows me to go into other countries. There, see? There's my passport with my mugshot on it. So I got a passport. What else do we have? I got I don't have my driver's license in my wallet today, but I'll show you this. I do have my passport card. There you go. It's my passport card. That gets me places. When I go to the bank and I want to cash a check, let's say I got a $7 check. You know what my bank is going to do if they don't recognize me in my small town? You need to see your ID. Usually they need two forms of ID to cash your check. What are some other things, folks? What are you putting in there? Vehicle and boat registration. Yep.
There you go.
There's Sam's driver's license and his social security card. And so Teresa said vehicle and boat registration. Carly Fagan said finally changing my maiden name to my married name,
which is
5 years later. And gun registration. You got to have ID to get gun registration.
Which is bullshit.
There you go. Because it's a constitutional right. Why should you have to show your ID to get a gun if it's a constitutionally protected right?
I've been having that debate all night with somebody.
We'll talk about that. So if it's a constitutional right, is voting a right? Please tell me, somebody, is voting a right? Can you have that right ever taken away if it's a right? So here's the big question. The reason I'm making a big fuss about ID and the things that we need ID to do, when you adopt an animal, says Steph. Hey, Steph, how you doing? And Master Finn, good to see you, if I didn't say hi. So we need all these different things to conduct our lives and the things that are in our lives. Yet there is a whole movement, mostly on the left, that's pushing to allow people to vote without any kind of ID. Why on earth would we even do that? Well, it's discriminatory because some people don't have it. You know what? That's just too flippin' bad. You don't have a form of ID? Guess what? In this constitutionally limited republic that has rules and regulations for voting, you don't get to vote. How about that? Hey, Amanda B.
Isn't that
Welcome to Intrepid Hardcore Exclusive. Thank you very much, Amanda B. That's fantastic. You are now a member. Membership has its privileges. So good to see you, Amanda. So everybody, it takes. Okay, I've been kind of ignoring the chat. Not ignoring it. I'm talking too much. I'm trying to look back. Hotel registration. You need your ID. You got to give them your license plate number too. How many times have I been to remember when I was driving down here and I got caught in the blizzard in Indiana, not far from Roger Rabbit and Carly's house. And we didn't get a chance to get together that day, although we talked about it. It was about 11 miles from where they lived, or not even that, a few miles. But I had to go into the hotel. And what did I need to do? I needed to show my ID. I needed to show my Visa card, MasterCard. I needed to write down my license plate number. And I had to run back out into the blizzard to go, because I never remember my license plate number. So you need all those things just to get a flipping hotel room. What about voting for the highest office in the land, the chief executive of the land? What about voting for legislators to the House of Representatives and to Congress, both federally and state level? What about everything that we have to vote for that's out there? What about referendums, where you get to vote for a referendum?
Oh, another good one that you need an ID for. Getting a job.
There you go. Thanks for interrupting me.
Sorry.
Can I see your ID, please?
Yeah,
getting
sure.
a job. You can't get a job without having an ID. You know what? You can't, because they can't pay you without your social security number either.
Credit cards.
Yep.
Getting a credit card, getting a library card.
Bingo. So all these things that we have to use our ID for, why is voting, which is a very important thing to a citizen of this country, why do you not have to show ID to vote? Why is anybody in their right minds pushing for legislation that would say you do not have to show ID to vote? What is the logical reason for that? Please,
Because they're
somebody tell me.
Stupid.
Well, there's that. If I want to call them names, I can do that. I agree with you, Sam. I happen to agree with you. It's stupidity.
It's not about calling them names.
It's not, you know what, folks? Like everything else, it's not about what the real issue is. It's not about rights. It's not about race. It's not about freedom and liberty. It's about creating voter bases. It's about creating voter bases that you don't have any way to check up on and verify that they even have the right to vote, or that they voted more than once, or that they're even, excuse me, a legal citizen. I'm just going to throw a hypothetical up there. If you don't have to show your ID or any proof of your citizenship, what if you had a block of 100,000 people across the country that were not legal citizens, but they could walk into their polls and vote? You can do that without ID, without any way of verifying who you are or where you're from. That is what predominantly the left is pushing for. And you've got to ask yourself the question, why are they doing that? Why? Give me, if somebody has already done it and I missed it, please tell me, what is a justifiable reason to be able to vote without proving who you are and that you're a citizen of this country by ID? I have a birth certificate. I need a birth certificate to get a passport.
Same.
What else did I, and of course, passport's another legal form of ID. What else did I need a birth certificate for? I'm trying to think how many times I've used that. It's come up. Oh, my taxes. I had to, in order to pay my taxes, I had to show birth certificates for all my children to prove that they were citizens of the United States. And I had to do that 3 years in a row. I said, it was the state of Wisconsin did that. And I said, why the hell are you asking me for their birth certificates again? I just gave them to you last year. Well, we don't keep records of those. I said, So next year you're going to ask? I said, why aren't you asking for mine this year if you don't keep records? How do you know I'm a citizen? I said, maybe I'm from Botswana and you just don't know it. Well, you've paid taxes for 40 years, sir. I said, my children, I'm not even going to get into it. You get what I mean. We need ID. We need ways to prove who we are, what we are, where we're from for everything. Except now, the left doesn't want you to have that to vote.
I needed 2 forms of ID to get a new Social Security card.
That's it.
Certificate and ID.
And you know what Social Security cards look like? They're flimsy little pieces of paper. They don't even laminate the suckers for you. I once pulled an old Social Security card out of an old wallet, and it was just like bonded to the inside of the leather of the wallet.
Let me show you this. I actually had trouble getting my new security card. I won't show you the numbers, but if you look on here, if you can see it, the name on there is Samuel Gustav Roberts.
Which is not his name.
My real name, if you look on my ID, right here, and it's on my birth certificate as well, is Samuel Joseph Roberts.
That's his real name.
Samuel Joseph Roberts has been my real name since the day I was born.
There it is.
So I had a bunch of trouble getting my new Social Security
He couldn't get his Social Security card. So he had to prove who he was. So, well, Matthew, there is a story to that one. If you're talking about the Social Security name for Sam, his mom and I argued about that. And remember, Sam was born into a divorce. He was my son. She wanted to name him Gustav after her dad. No, he was Donald Gustav, was his first and middle name. I said, I'm not going to name my son Gustav. Well, he's my son too. And, well, you know how those arguments go. They don't go anywhere. And she said, well, I want to name him after my dad who passed away. And I said, you know what? I said, he's my only son. You've got 4 brothers that are 3 brothers, right? You have 3 uncles on your mom's side?
John, Paul, Eric.
John, Paul, and Eric.
Yeah.
So he's got 3 uncles. And I said, you've got 3 uncles in your family, 3 brothers. I said, Sam's my only son. I'm going to name him after my dad, who was Joseph Roberts. So I named him Samuel Joseph Roberts. Well, it turns out, now, my wife and I we weren't divorced yet, but we were going through the divorce. Before she left the hospital, she changed the paperwork to Samuel Gustav Roberts in honor of her dad. And and I didn't know this. And come about, how long does it take? 6 weeks, 2 months? We get a paper in the mail in a big manila envelope. And it was Sam's birth certificate. And it said, please look at all details. And if there's any dispute on any detail, please write down what that is and mail this back, and we'll make the correction. So I'm looking at it, and it's Samuel Gustav Roberts. And we had talked about that. So you think it's not a big thing. It was a big thing at the time. So I said, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I took that piece of paper, and I filled out as I scratched out the Gustav, and I said, that's a mistake. Middle name is Joseph. Boom. And I sent it off to the birth control company, whoever they are.
Birth control company.
Vital Records. So I ended up getting, here, let me move some stuff around so you got room and we can fit you on the camera. And so I ended up getting his new birth certificate, came in the mail, and boy, was his mother pissed. And because you couldn't appeal it after that, I had already fixed it. I said, this is what we agreed to. That's what his name is, Samuel Joseph Roberts, after my dad. And so she was pissed. Just another thing to be pissed about. But so then somewhere along the way, his Social Security card came in, and it's Samuel Gustav Roberts. So now, is that fixed now? Were you able to fix that?
I have not been able to get that fixed.
That's interesting. So
it's also, it was funny that they put it down as Gustav on my Social Security, because when I went to the Social Security office, the 2 forms of ID that I gave them both had Samuel Joseph Roberts on.
Yep.
So I don't know how it came out, and I even,
That's weird.
That's the one that they sent me, and I, you know.
Let me see. I think I'm far enough away to use my glasses from the computer. Let's see. Nope. No can do. It's right in that middle range for me. I think there's a famous historical guy called Gustav. I can't remember. There is Matthew Sainsbury, all kinds of them. It comes from Augustus, is what that comes from. It's just the German rendition of Augustus. Roger Rabbit says, someone please steal my identity. You will gain only debt
and terrible
credit score. Have at it. My social is Teresa Dennis. I can see what's going on. They want the illegals. The thing's jumping around. They want the illegals that they're letting across the border to be able to vote. That's exactly what's going on. Why do you think all of a sudden the Biden administration, I don't think Joe Biden is doing it. I don't think he knows what he's doing half the time. And I don't mean that as a slam. I just don't think he does. Everybody around him that runs him, that handles him, they're the ones doing this. Do you think after watching that press conference the other day or any public appearance of Joe Biden's that he actually is running the country as the chief executive? No, he's not.
I don't believe that for a second.
And I mean, you listen to things even like North Korea. What did North Korea do now? North Korea, for the first time since before Trump was in office, launched a nuclear missile test just the other day. Back to launching nuclear missiles. What did the Biden administration say in the press conference? What he was told to say off of his cue card. Well, we're going to take some measures and we'll keep you informed. Well, what are you going to do, Mr. President? We'll let you know when we get there. And what would Trump have said? I'm just curious. I'm not just to make the comparison in leadership styles. What did Trump say? He said, "You keep doing this, Korea." I remember seeing this speech. I don't remember the exact words. He stood up in front of the cameras and he says, "You continue down this path, North Korea," and I just told you this yesterday. I can't remember how he said it. He said, "There will be a reckoning for you that you will not want to see." And he said, "You go right ahead and keep doing what you're doing and see where it gets you. You are going to be in a world of pain." And that's when he started calling Kim Il-jung, he started calling him Rocket Man, Little Rocket Man, Little Kim. And so, you know what? Leadership styles mean something. Biden's leadership style kind of frightens me for the security of our nation right now. Seriously.
That's the truth.
And you are right, Teresa. They're flying the doors wide open. Why are they doing that at the borders? Why are they letting all the immigrants in? Because of the goodness of our hearts. Every friggin' country out there, except maybe Ghana, I don't know what Ghana's rules are, but every country has a border. And every country that has a government controls their borders.
If you cross their borders, they will kick your ass out.
They will. You'll get jail time. In a godforsaken, Midnight Express type of jail in Turkey. But they're throwing the doors wide open at the border because they want those people, they want that influx of people. And they want that influx of people. And why are they at the same time working on doing away with having any kind of voter ID or any kind of call for it? And they house it all in racism. They house it all in keeping the little guy down by asking for their ID. What if they can't afford the $32 to get their driver's license? What if they can't afford the $16 to get their state ID if they don't have a driver's license? An official ID.
Cost me, for my driving test in North Carolina, cost me $40 for the test and for my ID, my license.
Yep. Kids under bridges and in cellular jail pods, wrapped like potatoes in an oven. Yeah. Did you see Biden's potatoes? Go take a look at the pictures coming down from the border. And of course, they called it a crisis in Trump's time, in Trump's administration. They're doing all the same things, but it's not a crisis now. It's interesting. So,
both of you are full of wooey.
full of hooey?
Wooey.
Wooey? Beth Kirkham?
Okay.
Beth, do you think we shouldn't have any kind of voter ID? Do you think we should let non-citizens vote? Those two questions. Should non-citizens be allowed to vote? And should we not have any form of ID at the polls?
I'm glad I'm full of wooey.
I'm full of hooey on that. I love you, Beth, but if that's what you're talking about.
To me, that just...
Unless she's talking to
tells...
people in the chat room, I don't know. Hey, Steph. Oh, that was for Scott A. Hey, Scott A. So, James, good to see you. Didn't they get $1,400 and they still can't get an ID? Damn straight, James.
Well, something else.
Non-citizens got the $1,400 stimulus check.
I just read something on. It was more of a meme, but it said, "How is it that they can't track down illegal immigrants to send them back to their home place, but they can send them a $1,400 stimulus check?"
That's it. Well, because those aren't illegals; they're just non-citizens. So
yeah, okay.
So yeah, illegal aliens are now undocumented citizens. So it's all words, it's all semantics.
Just shut up
free
and
money.
Pay your taxes, you bigot.
So there it is. Yeah. Who said that?
Matt Finn.
Oh, Matt Finn. Yeah, really. I agree, Matt. We should shut up and just pay our taxes. So should there be a voter ID? Should a constitutionally limited representative republic of ours, such as ours, that has rules and regulations on voting, where only citizens can vote, and there are only certain days of year that you can vote, and if you vote absentee, you have to have a good reason to vote absentee, not just willy-nilly, I'm going to vote absentee. Why do you think COVID was so built up this year? So they could push the agenda to have people stay home from the polls and vote by mail. So, see, I went to Walmart today and noticed that they were wiped clean of 98% of their big screen TVs. That stimulus really helped our locals pay off their debts. Yeah, it did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it did. You know where ours went? Went into my wife's bank account. And I think that it went to pay bills. So there you go. But I put out $1,400 on a 75-inch flat screen TV.
Mine's going to a nice rifle.
There you go.
Because I believe that this world is in the starting point of falling to shit.
Matt, do you think it is cash for corporate America? Yeah, where's all the money going?
Well, you know,
Did you find the bread, by the way?
Yes, I did. Okay. I also read something that billionaires made $3.9 trillion during the pandemic crisis, whereas everyone else lost at least $3.7 billion. Where'd all that money go?
That'd be nice to know, wouldn't it?
Makes you think.
So, bottom line, I'm all again this no ID for voting. I think everybody needs ID to vote. If I got to show ID for voting, so do you. So does the Mexican. So does the Iranian. So do all the different peoples in our melting pot.
Has nothing
Everybody
to do
is
with
here.
race. It has nothing to do with race. Discrimination.
Nothing to do with discrimination.
American citizens vote for the people that we put in office.
And only American citizenship. Does anybody in the chat room, anybody listening to my voice, believe that non-citizens should be allowed to vote? Do you? Somebody speak up over there. Should non-citizens be allowed to vote in our national elections?
No, absolutely not.
Anybody? Anybody?
If they want to become a citizen and vote, that's a different story. If they just want to be an illegal alien and vote, absolutely not.
That's right. Oops. So anybody think they should be able to vote? No, says Carly Sagan. Thank you, Carly. If you don't think mileage tax on driving is a sneaky way of taxing people that make less than 400K, you're crazy. Amen, Matt. So
Rifle for the
he
bullets.
needs a rifle for the bullets. Hey, by the way, if
Exactly.
anybody wants to come on here and here, pardon my hand in front of my lens. It's only Still off.
There it goes.
No, I'm not broadcasting yet. Oh, yeah, I am. Can anybody hear me? I don't think they can. Because all my... No, it says my mic is on. All right. Can anybody hear me? Can you hear me out there? Let me know. Well, hello, black screen, he says.
Yeah.
New comments.
That's everyone yelling.
Yeah, nope, yeah. Nope, what? Yeah, what? Yeah, you can hear me. Okay, you can hear me, you can see me. All right. I don't know what happened. It's just suddenly the whole thing shut off, and I couldn't turn my mic and my camera back on. So I had to reboot my phone, which we're broadcasting from. So how's that to put a little glitch in the show? Sorry about that. That wasn't even an internet problem, which is the major problem we have out here. Hey, Matthew, good to see you. And there's a radio delay, yes. So, so we dropped off for a couple of minutes there. Sorry about that. It was not due to anything other than I must have hit a button. When I reach over here and I'm pushing a button on my phone, I'm doing this from my phone, by the way. Why do you think I call it the fucking makeshift studio? Pardon my French. It's because I don't have anything over here. The internet doesn't even work half the time. Half the time today, I couldn't send emails because we can't get internet here. And there's internet hooked up. And nobody's doing anything to fix it. And we're paying top money to live here. So I'm starting to get perturbed by it. But anyway.
Pain in the ass.
Anyway, so I found that just broadcasting from my phone, because it's on a totally different network than the internet here, I'm able to broadcast on my phone. La-di-da, internet.
Mm-hmm.
So, and so I did something. I pushed a button. And so Field Guy says, we can speak Cajun French here. So it's all good. There you go. Roger Rabbit said, let's just take a moment to recognize the fact that we are viewing this from a phone. Anybody remember when a phone required two hands to hold and dial? We're just living in the future. Enjoy it. That's exactly true. So, I think I just had James V. Johnson ask if I could do a show with him tonight. Not sure which one he meant. And so I'm in the middle of a broadcast, so I suppose I could answer him, but not on my phone. I think he sent me a text message on my phone. So I'm not messing with the broadcast till I'm done. So anyway, that's all it was, folks. I must have hit a button and shut us off. Shut off my mics and everything.
You broke it. I
broke it. So I know where we were. We were talking about voter ID and all of that. And I don't think I haven't seen anybody in the chat room give me a good reason why we should abolish, or not, and abolish is not the word I'm looking for. Why should we not have voter ID? Why should we not have required ID in order to vote in this country?
We should.
We need ID for everything else. So what's going on right now in government? You're seeing a big movement from one party trying to totally overturn everything in our government to fulfill their agenda in a rush, because they know by 2022 there's going to be more checks and balances voted into place, and they're going to lose their seats of power. They're going to have to fight for what they want. Why do you think they want to do away with the filibuster? Oh, it's not because it hails back to Jim Crow laws. Bullshit. B is in B, S is in S. The only reason they want to do away with that is because it's something that effectively is a tool to work against them passing through their agenda quickly. So they're trying to get their agenda put through before 2022, when there are midterm elections. And so far, they're not scoring very high with the American people. I think we were talking about Korea, by the way.
Yeah.
That, what did you see Trump do? Trump said, he said, basically, F y'all, make another move, you're going to see ramifications that you don't want to have. Nothing has happened yet. Beth, are you responding to me on that? Nothing's happened yet? Yeah. He's only been in office for 6 weeks. Give him a month. Give him another month. Give him the first 100 days and see where it's at. You know why nothing's happened yet? Because he hasn't been able to implement everything yet. Although he's signed a hell of a lot of executive orders, I want to come in on the show. Oh, that's what I was going to do, Carly. I was going to try to get an invite. Here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have to pick up my phone this time. So I can go here, and I can look at guests, and I can say invite a guest. Here is the, let me copy this. I hope you're not just looking up my nostrils right now. Okay, come on. Why won't that move? Select all. How about that? Copy to clipboard. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, folks, I'm going to put this in. If you want to call in, where do I comment? Where's my bar to type something in? Comments. I can see comments, but it's not letting me type anywhere. Well, son of a... All right, here's what we're going to have to do. Enter the broadcast studio. I got to tell you, this whole thing of not having internet, not having a proper studio, that's the only reason I'm on my phone, and that's the only reason we're having problems, because I'm trying to navigate through this show on my phone. So here we go. Invite a guest. Here, I'm going to type this out. All right, guys. I'm going to type this in the chat room. Just click on that for me. It is HTTPS. We did this last night, but it's a different link than last night. / StreamYard yard.com / RA6DFD. RA6DFD. 2PC. Is that an I or an L at the end?
I.
2PCI. 2PCI. Boom. There it is, guys. That's a link where if you want to get into the show, you can. There. Bang, bangity bang. All right. Now, with those technical difficulties that are pretty much produced at my own hand, oh, I see somebody's already there. Let's take a guess. Who do you all guess? I can't see who it is yet. Who's the first one in the lineup, do you think? Let's find out. Oh, there's 3 of you. Let's see, Scott Allen, Doug Stack, and Field Guy in that order. I'm going to bring in Scott Allen. Let's see, Scott Allen. Okay, add to stream. Boom, boom. How you doing, Scott Allen?
I'm doing great. Sam, I love that hat.
Okay,
Thank you.
hold on, I'm trying to get
How you doing, Scott Allen?
correctly. And you got to look at my hands and my fingers.
I'm
Because
hearing
you know
an
what?
echo,
It's
though.
on my phone. So it irritates the hell out of me.
Hold on a second.
Boom.
There we go.
There we go. All right, I got you now. Bang.
Great.
Good to see you, Scott Allen. What's going
You
on,
too.
brother?
It's another night in paradise. Drinking
I guess.
Narragansett.
So I don't know if we're getting any feedback out there, folks. You let me know in the chat room. I don't have a headset on, and sometimes if the speaker's playing, the mic will pick it up.
You have to turn down the volume on YouTube when StreamYard is it?
I've got that all off. I'm not
Okay.
even on YouTube right now, other than I've got the chat room out so I can see it. That's on the computer. I'm on my phone broadcasting.
Yeah.
So
I was mentioning earlier to Sam about the hat, but there was so much going on, I don't think he saw it. This is also representing Charlotte here, Pterodactyl Club from back in the day.
Nice.
Let's see that a little better. Pterodactyl Club.
Yep. The Ramones, in the Ramones video Pet Cemetery, Joe Ramone is wearing a Pterodactyl Club t-shirt.
Oh, now that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Now that's like in Stranger Things, that series.
Right.
All the kids wearing the St. Paul Science Museum with the Brontosaurus on it.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
That's a real place up here, up in St. Paul, the St. Paul Science Museum. And so they started manufacturing those shirts, and they're all over the place now. So, pop culture. So what do you think of all this stuff? You got any comments on any of the voter IDs? And this isn't even what we were going to talk about tonight. But it
blows my mind. I mean, I'm not surprised because, I mean, it makes sense because the world around us has just completely gone insane. But
yes,
it's always blown my mind that you don't need ID to vote. You know, like I know my friends' addresses, and if I was a devious person, I could totally show up as them, say their name, say their address.
Oh, hell.
They don't get a vote.
Exactly. Exactly. And by the way, did I see Beth Kirkham leaving the room? I hope you're not leaving. I wasn't picking on you at all. I was just disagreeing with you. So, and that's okay. You can disagree with me too. It's welcome. Carly Sagan said she's ready to enter next. We haven't had Carly on at all, so we'll bring her in after. I could bring her in right now, but why don't we? Hold on. Watch my fingers, folks. Let's see. Guests. Where is Carly? I see James. I see Scott Allen. I see Doug Stack, and I see Field Guy. I don't see Carly.
Field Guy said he was going to dance.
Oh, he's going to dance, huh?
That's what he said. Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to bring James in because I haven't had him in yet. Let's add him to the stream.
Oh, we can do more.
James, how you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. Let's do it
all
that
right.
way.
Well, hopefully everybody else can without all the extra static and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to slightly disagree with you on the illegals voting.
Okay.
Many of the I'm down here in Louisiana. You know, I'm a bit north of you, about 3-4 hours up here in Shreveport, Bossier City area. We have a lot of the illegal immigrants that are here that, stay in the area and stay in hotels and stuff like that, doing construction jobs. And they still, they pay all the taxes when they pay, when they buy anything from the store. So they pay sales taxes, they pay gas taxes. So they're being taxed without representation. So while I don't believe that they should be able to vote for who our country's president is, I'm kind of neutral on the idea of, let them vote in the local elections for the cities that they're in if they're actually here for a while.
Let me say something on that. You said something about they were taxed without representation. So was I. Before I turned 18, before I had the right to vote, anybody who works a job that's under the age of 18, they don't have the right to vote. That is taxation without representation. It's the same concept.
Well, and you're covered by your parents at that point. Your parents are the ones represented. When you're a minor, you've got somebody here. In a sense, your parents are your sponsors. And so can your income be taxed when you're a minor, but yet you can't vote? Yeah. Maybe that's equivalent to what James is saying. They can't vote in national elections, but they can pay their taxes. So that's a good point, though, James. Something I hadn't thought about. But I am sure there is a good legal answer for that I don't have off the top of my head.
Where'd he go?
Oh, I think he might have just gone. Thanks for calling in. James, I think I may have lost
Field
you.
Guy. Let's dump the tea in the Boston Harbor again.
There you go, tea in the Boston Harbor. James, thank you very much for your thoughts. I really appreciated that. I'm actually going to look into that a little bit. I want to find out what if you are a taxable non-citizen, if your wages are taxed, should you be allowed to vote in any election? Or is it still you can pay your taxes because you're earning money here, but you can't vote? But then it gets back to what was the big caterwaul in the American Revolution?
James said, my son crashed,
okay.
Louisiana.
Ain't that the truth? I'm in Louisiana too, James. Remember, I'm down in Lake Charles right now. So what did they say in the American Revolution? No taxation without representation.
Exactly.
So are they represented? Good point, James. I appreciate that.
And I understood what you were kind of saying about, well, their parents are. I still don't.
Scott, I'm going to dump you and I'm going to bring in Carly. Thanks for coming on. Sorry, folks. The only way I can do this is to get my finger in the way. Let's see if I can do it from the other side. But see, then I got to do it with my left hand, and I'm like useless. There we go. And here's Carly Sagan. Let's add her to the stream. All right, Carly, you should be in. Well, if I can get my window clear here. Doing this on my phone is for the birds. Hit that button. There it goes. Oh. All right. Hey, Carly, how you doing?
Hey, Scotty, I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
I'm fantastic.
Hey, Carly.
Let's here, hold on a second. I'm just trying to, since I don't have an engineer doing this, let's do this the right way. That way. There we go. Now you're bigger. Oh. Now I can see you better.
Hi, guys.
Good to see you.
Scotty. Hey, Sam.
Hey, Carly.
Good to see you. How's everything going today?
Good to see you guys. You know, a roller coaster like every day, but I'm happy to actually catch you guys live tonight.
Yes, I am too. Steve Clark, we're poking him in the eyes and the nose with our fingers up in the lens. So, and as you know, we're on the phone broadcasting tonight. I'm glad I can use my software on the phone. That's fantastic.
Right.
So
it's pretty phenomenal. I'm very impressed, to say the least.
Me too. So what's on your mind tonight?
Well, you know, I think we should say, despite all the negative stuff, that we should maybe just bring up some positive stuff. And, you know, the weather's been greater. You know, despite all the awful things going on with driver's license and Social Security, like we already talked about, let's talk about the positive things that.
Absolutely.
You know, spring is finally coming. You guys are doing great despite all the negativity that I have recently heard from Roger, because I'm not fully in the loop with the moving and all that. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I look at that, it's life. So, you know, it just happens. So, you know, we're hoping to build a house this summer. Hopefully we can build a house and get started on something before we have to move.
That would be phenomenal. I'm sending you guys all the positive vibes in the universe to make that happen, because I know you guys need that more than anything, and that would just be incredible.
We do. Well, Roger said that you guys could come up in your camper trailer and live in our driveway for a while.
We would love to. Can we please?
Sure. Rainey could use the adult company right now, so.
Count us in. We will be there. We need the adult company too. We love Kins, but you know, we don't have much adult interaction. So to be able to interact with you guys would be like the world to us.
See, that's the thing with Rainey right now. She's exhausted, and she said she could sure use some adult interaction. I said, you know, I'll help find somebody that could help clean and stuff like that. It's not that she's slovenly or anything. It's that she's just burning it at both ends. And you know what burning it at both ends is like from a different perspective. And so she said, just to have some human contact, somebody that's an adult to interact with would be really nice. So she gets it at work, but she's massaging somebody at work. So.
Well, I guess we'll just have to make our trip up there before you guys have to make your trip back home with the move and all potentially. And we'll just have to join her and give her some adult interaction, because we would love that. She would love that.
Fantastic. We need to make that happen. You tell Roger, make it happen. Make it so.
I am so down. We are both obviously already so tragic about the fact that you were 5 miles away from us and we couldn't see
I know. I know.
So the
That's too
next time
bad.
when you guys, if you are traveling back home before the move or when you're done with your jobs, we're going to make that happen no matter what.
Well, I probably won't be coming home the same way because I went down from Minnesota, which is a straight line north of us right now. But I went from Minnesota to North Carolina to get him. That's why I passed by your place.
Okay.
And then we did the other triangle and went down to Lake Charles.
Like an L shape.
So when we go home from here, we'll drive straight north. Boom, right up 35. So that gets us home. But we'll make something happen. We'll work out the details.
I was gonna say, you could just make a little tiny detour, that Fair Oaks farm, we could just do a little detour.
Yeah.
You guys come here. We could have the camper ready for you. You could just stay in the camper while you stay here
Right,
for
I
a
have to
little
go
bit
back.
on your intermission for your drive back home.
There we go. Well, we might have to go back to get his dog.
I have my dog and my car, which I don't know what I'm doing with my car because my car is a piece of shit and falling apart. Which is why I'm hoping I can get a nice truck up here.
Now I'm getting selective things I see. It's like we have men who have selective hearing. I saw that Steph was in the bubble bath, and that just popped out. And I went, ooh, Steph's in the bubble bath. So there you go.
Woo.
Selective hearing.
Hey,
Selective hearing.
I got you. It's no worries.
We're guys here.
Hey, I have a guy's mind, so it's all good.
All right. You got a guy's mind, huh?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Sure
Speaking of poor Rainey and her massages, says Roger Rabbit, her only adult interactions are naked. So yeah, exactly. The guy she massaged the other day, I have to get my panties off. I forgot to take off my panties, he said. The panties?
We sat on the phone and joked about that for about 10 minutes. I had some of my boxers, brand new pair, brand new pack, and we were going, are they this color blue?
Oh yeah.
Or were they dark blue?
Dark green? Were they
pink?
So yeah, she runs into all different kinds. But
I love it.
Anyway, so with somebody groaning and drooling while you're massaging them, usually isn't the best adult interaction. So
no, I wouldn't
anyway,
say
what are
please.
panties? What are panties? Says Steph Cuervo Queen.
Oh.
Well, Carly's a woman. She would know.
Well, I wear panties, but I think we're just going to have to definitely make a trip up there and see Rainey, and I'll be sure to keep my panties on. I may like a massage, though. I'm not going to deny that. She's fantastic at what she does. Field guy said, panties are the stuff you take off ladies, right? There you go. There's typical field guy for us. Well, Carly? I love you guys. This is why I watch you, and I'm so excited to see you live and to actually be called in on the show. So thank you, Scotty.
I'm so glad you came in. Thank you for coming in, Carly. I love you too. Love Roger, and best to everything. Best to Kinsey. And so you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you too. We love you guys.
All right. I love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See if I can make this work. Boom, and remove from the stream. Boom. See, if I was an engineer, you would never know I was doing this stuff because I'm just doing it all on my own.
It's already 10.
Do you know that, guys? Hey, Doug and Scott and Field Guy, I've got you all hanging in the wings, but you know what? It's 10 o'clock. I think we're going to quit for tonight. So thank you guys for holding on in there. Sorry I didn't get you in. We'll do this again tomorrow night. I like this. I like being able to bring some of you into the show. I think that's fantastic. Tomorrow night, folks, we're going to hit some things about apologetics. That's what I wanted to talk about. If you don't even know what I'm talking about when I talk about apologetics, remember when we did the series on David, King David? I talked about apologetics. What are apologetics and what are they for? And so that's why I want to talk about that. It's getting slightly off of politics tonight. I wasn't here to talk about politics. I just wanted to make mention of something in the news. And look where it went. So we won't do that again tomorrow night. If he's wearing panties,
you know we won't have to worry about him.
That's right. That's right. David, oh yeah. Says Matthew Sainsbury. Liberal apologetics, no, Matt Finn. Although they use them. I wanted to talk about get us back a little bit into talking some religious history, why we do the things we do kind of series. And for a little bit, I want to talk about apologetics. And I want to point out some things that I believe in Old Testament and New Testament, especially because you're covering two of the major Abrahamic religions in the world when you talk Old Testament and New Testament. Look at some of the apologetics that are in place. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow, because we've already exhausted our time tonight. So, folks, I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate your being here. It means a lot to me. Thanks for those of you who called in. Thanks for those of you we couldn't get to. And so, you know what? You can't see it from there. There you go. Live long and prosper, folks.
Live long and prosper.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
End.